right, guys, ESPN did a ranking of the greatest NBA dynasties. And you know who they put at number one? Bill Russell's Celtics and their 11 championships. In second place, Michael Jordan and his Chicago Bulls. And in third place, Magic's Lakers. So, Shannon, how would you rank them?
I would rank the Celtics first. And I get it, Skip. A lot of times when we look at the Celtics, those great teams, we look at there were only 8 teams in the league at that time. But it's hard to argue 11 championships in 12 seasons. And the length of the dynasty is what's impressive. And if you look at the 1963 team, it had 9 Hall of Famers of 12 players. Second, Skip, is where I'm going to surprise you. I got the Lakers and Magic because that dynasty went basically from 1980 until 1991. 9 finals in 12 seasons. And Skip, when I talk to people and we're debating, we're having barbershop talk, I say, well, when Jordan beat the Lakers, Magic was old, and it's like Magic was only like 31, 32. I said, there's a difference between a guy that's 31, 32 that's gone to 9 finals in 12 years as opposed to a guy that has missed the playoffs 8 of the last 10 years. I said, you look at what Magic and them had to do. And Skip, if you remember, Skip, I think if I'm not mistaken, they played the Celtics in 84, 85, and again in 87. And we know what the Celtics represented. And they also had to fight through the bad boy Pistons. We know what they represented. And they also had to play in the early 80s, the Sixers with Dr. J and those teams. And we know what they represented. So, Skip, for me, I'm going to put the Lakers at 2. I'm going to put the Bulls at 3. Because they had a shorter reign. I understand they were undefeated in their reign, but for me, Skip, I think the Lakers and the road that they had to go was much tougher, and it was longer. So I got Celtics 1, Lakers 2, Bulls 3. But you noticed on that list, Skip, also on that list were the Warriors and the Spurs, and that was old dynasty that little LeBron had to go through. So I'm trying to see. But go ahead. I'm going to let you follow that up, but you see what's on that list.
Ho-hum. Another day on Undisputed and more Jordan hate from my partner, Shannon Sharp. It's okay. I get it. But I'm about to crush it because let's start with Bill Russell's Boston Celtics. I'm sorry, Shannon. It was an all-time great run. I certainly can't argue that. But when you win your first 9 of those rings against an NBA that had fewer than 10 teams, I got reservations. There were 8 teams for a while, then there were 9 teams for a while as they won their first 9 rings. And thanks to the great Red Auerbach, they had a corner on the market. They had an embarrassment of riches, as you just pointed out, of talent that they had everybody. Thanks to Red, I want him, I got him, I want him. And they were just too good because their cupboard was more stocked than any other cupboard by far. So I don't know. It's hard for me to give in to that. I give it's the longest run with the most success. 11 championships in 12 tries. I got it. But now let's get back to more current, more modern era. Let's get back to Showtime versus Jordan's Bulls. And for me, Shannon, it ain't even close because as spectacular as Showtime was, as fun to watch as Showtime was, more fun to watch than Jordan's Bulls because they were more defensive mindset based. Even though Jordan was a spectacular scorer, he was also an even more spectacular defender. But when I look at Showtime, it was spectacular peaks and too many valleys. You did not mention all the valleys because in their 11-year run, they had 6 disappointing playoff finishes. And let us count the ways quickly if we can. After Magic stepped in at center in 1980 in his rookie year for Kareem, and they pulled off the Game 6 win and won the championship in Philly. Okay, that's the first one. But then in 81, they lost to the Rockets in a best of 3 in the first round of the playoffs. Okay, that's not great. Then in 83, they got swept by the Sixers in the finals. That's not too pretty. And then in 86, they lost to the Rockets in 5 games in a 7-game series in the Western Conference Finals. And then in 89, they got swept in the finals by the Pistons. That was the time when, obviously, Game 1 Magic and Byron Scott pulled their hamstrings. Magic was somewhat available the rest of the way. Byron was not. They still had Worthy and Perkins and Kareem, but they got swept ingloriously. And then in 1990, they lost to the Suns in the second round of the playoffs in 5. And then, of course, without Kareem in 91, they lost in 5 to Jordan's Bulls. And you can argue it wasn't a fair fight, but they did win Game 1 in Chicago and turned around and lost 4 straight games decisively as Jordan's Bulls arrived and said, watch this, here we go. So, again, I just gave you 6 glitches, which disqualify Showtime, because once Jordan broke through in 91, the only glitches were he had a forced sabbatical. Some people thought it was because of his gambling. Others thought he just wanted to go play baseball. I think the former. I think he was forced to take the sabbatical. And then we talked about, to open the show, he was forced into early retirement at age 35 by Jerry Krause, who wanted to blow up the Bulls because he hated Phil Jackson, who despised Jerry Krause. So, again, I think that run for Jordan's Bulls, if you take away the sabbatical and you take away the premature retirement, I think they could have won 10 straight championships and would have won 10 straight championships.
No, Skip. Skip. They listed the Bulls dynasty starting in 1989. So 89, they didn't win the finals. They didn't even make it. In 90, they didn't make it. So no. We're not talking about no 91. We're talking about 89. They listed the dynasty at the time that it started and when it ended. That's what they listed it as. They got from 1989 until 1998. Oh, I'm not going to let you start this at 91. Now, hold on. We talk about Magic. They went out. They lost to the Big 3 Celtics. The Big 3 Celtics. You remember when Magic got swept in 83 by the Sixers, Moses Malone was the regular season MVP. Moses Malone, for people that don't know, is a 3-time regular season MVP. He was also finals MVP. The year that they lost in 81, Moses Malone was on that team in Houston that beat the Lakers. So Moses Malone was not a slouch. They played the Sixers. The Lakers played the Sixers 3 times in the early 80s. They were 2-1 in the finals. And then, flip that back, Skip. Think about this. It was a revolving door, the Bulls. They would play Seattle, they would play Utah, they would play Phoenix, they would play Portland. The Lakers, they either got the Sixers or the Celtics for the first half of that decade. That was it. There was no revolving door. That was it. Think about it. You had to beat the Celtics to first of all, you would either have to beat the Sixers or the Celtics, even to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what you're going to have to do. And then the bad boy Pistons came onto the scene. Skip, stop this. The bad boy Pistons kept the Lakers, kept the Celtics, not the Celtics, excuse me, the Bulls smacking them. Whack up, swack it, Michael, whack up, Scotty, whack up. So let's not talk about no 91. This thing started in 89. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Michael Jordan, Orlando, can you tell the people what happened in the second round when Nick Anderson stole the ball and they beat the brakes off the Bulls? Did that not happen? I just need to know, did it happen? Yes, it did. Yes, it did. So for me, when I look at the Lakers and what they had to go through, hold on, Orlando didn't beat the Bulls in the second round in 95? With Shaq, Penny, Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott? Are you sure?
Michael took off most of that year and came back late for the playoff run and was not in any shape. He was not ready to make a deep run in the playoffs. He had been playing baseball. He'd been gone for almost 2 full seasons when he came back. No, we'll start it.
No, Skip, I ain't gonna do that. Hold on, first of all, how's that my fault? Now look here, I ordered some from Grubhub. Now they charged me, I ordered me some lemon pepper wing for Wingstop. I ordered that from Grubhub. They messed up my order. They didn't give me all my wings I ordered. But they charged me for it. How's that my fault that the driver didn't get that or y'all didn't give it to the driver? Y'all need to take that off, take that last 15 wing piece off my bill to show that. How is that my fault that Michael Jordan took off? Did he play? I just need to know, was he on the team that lost to the Orlando Magic in the second round? A simple no or a simple yes will suffice. I don't care about what he did before then. Was he on the court? You didn't say nothing about that when he dropped that double nickel on the Knicks. You didn't mention that he took off half the season. You thought, oh, Michael Jordan dropped 55. Okay, I need that same energy. I need that same energy, that same passion that you had with your chest out when Nick Anderson, Shaq, and Penny blew him off the court.
I did not mention the double nickel game. I didn't mention that whole year because he was forced out of basketball. I'm sorry, it didn't count to me. Anybody who saw Jordan on the court against Orlando had a hard time recognizing him because he'd been out of basketball for so long. But next year, when he got his training camp and he got his legs underneath him, you know and I know what started to happen again, another three-peat. So you're the one who made all the excuses for all those valleys that Showtime suffered through their run. And all I know is their run started when Magic won his first championship. And so I'm going to start Jordan's run when he finally broke through in 91 to win his first championship. That's when the dynasty started, and it should have won 10 straight championships.
No, Skip, baby. No, that's not when the dynasty. That's not when the dynasty started. They list the dynasty as 19